Hey guys, it's me, EODGamerz here. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to deterministically craft something like this Tenebrous Amulet, why I chose it, and how I ended up with the outcome that we got as well, which is massive 5-liners. Of course, this is before the fact as well. So if you guys are interested to understand the thought process every step of the way, why did I even choose this, stick around to the end. You will find a lot of value, especially if you want to learn a thing or two about crafting that can be used from any time from here on out. I'll also be sharing with you what is exclusive for this current league and what can be brought over to other leagues, so you have a bit of options as well. It's not going to be like a short shelf life content tool. So starting off with the Tenebrous Amulet, why did I choose this is because of the prefix modifiers -2, suffix modifiers +2 as well. The reason for this is if you go into a site like Craft on Exile, for example, you will realize that for DPS characters, melee characters, monks, warriors, rangers and stuff, there isn't too much offensive stats that's found on the prefix other than the exception of maybe accuracy rating, or if you have some sort of evasion energy shield that converts a little bit to damage. That aside, generally your amulets provide a lot more defensive stats than offensive stats for these classes. If your mage is totally different because there's mana, there's like spell damage. So what I'm going to be looking for in this video are amulets that have projectile skills +3 first, or melee skills +3. Usually I'll just go for projectile skills because it makes more money, but you can see the probability of hitting the projectile skills is so little, and I just want to make this video out so that I can educate you guys on the step-by-step process. So that's why I included melee skills. In economic practice, like in terms of monetizing, I would probably just stick with projectile skills, to be really honest. But for this video, I don't really know what's coming up. So once we snipe this line, projectile skills or melee skills line, we are going to be looking for a few other lines. And here's where the bit of the RNG comes in there. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's look at the ideal other 4 lines that you want. We either want both of crit rate, crit damage. So very nice offensive stats over here for crit projectile skills build. So that is one. The next one that we can get is a 4-line resistance. So we have either elemental, chaos, fire, lightning, or out of these 5, we choose 4 of them. And that's the objective that we are going for in this particular video as well. I don't know what is the final result as I'm talking right now, but I'll show you how to deterministically craft everything step by step along the way. So I went ahead and actually went to search just regular spirit, unfractured. I bought this for 3 divines. I fractured it, got lucky, but I was prepared to spend a lot more for this video as well. So I was like thinking, let's just do this and make some good content for you guys to teach you guys how to do it. So what's the step-by-step thought process of how to work out something like this from the very beginning? The first step is to annul everything and leave yourself with 1 line of cast speed. So once you have 1 line of cast speed, it becomes a lot more workable now. As of 0.3, there's a tiny bug that's going on, which has something to do with the abyssal mark. If you the bug, I don't know whether it's fixed when you're watching this video, but it doesn't really matter, but it affects what I'm going to do now. So I'm actually going to check all lines, and I just want to make sure that there are 6 lines in total, because the bug actually right now that's ongoing is you can only have like maximum of 5 lines. One of my items got stuck as a 5-liner because of the abyssal mark interaction. So it's just for this 0.3 patch. There's like some weird gimmick going on. So I'm spending 1 divine just to check the thing. But otherwise, it's fine, because I don't want to like spend hundreds of divines just rolling this into a perfect game and figuring out later on at the end of this video that I can't get the final line. So okay, now what you want to do is when you buy the item, fracture it, you want to make sure that you annul it to 1 line, because this is going to help you with your chaos spam. So what do I mean by chaos spam is I'm going to be spamming my chaos ops until I find a usable line. In this case, a +3 to projectile skills, or a +3 to melee skills for the sake of this video. Now the advantage of using a Tenebrous Amulet is, usually when you chaos 1 line, you can get both the prefix lines and the suffix lines. So an added combo of not only the perks that I mentioned of the Tenebrous Amulet having more offensive stats, or all 4 resistance lines, which is a huge stat resistance stick as well. So you can find crit damage in your other pieces like your gloves and whatever not. One extra advantage about that is instead of having these ratios like projectile skills of this quantity like 0.056 being divided by the entire like weight of the prefix as well. Now, because all that is possible to be wrote is in the suffix, which means that we actually almost double our percentages to get a +3 projectile skills and a +3 to melee skills. So the odds are actually like 0.056 to 0.097, which is a massive increase in terms of probability. It basically halves your cost needed to actually snipe a 46 spirit as well as a +3 projectile skills or +3 melee skills. Some of you might be asking, a good question is, EOD, why do you start with Spirit Fracture instead of fracturing projectile skills? That way you don't have to worry about like getting a max roll spirit, right? You can get like a mid roll and it's still very, very usable. It is a very good question, but currently as of time recording, the meta is actually to find a +4 projectile skills, +4 melee skills, +4 spell skills or minion skills using the Sanctified, which basically can push it beyond the range. Instead of +3, it becomes +4. Something like my shield over here, you can see is Sanctified to +4, whereas it's only +3 by normal standards. So that is why I rather have the option and the possibility of letting the buyer choose whether he wants to try to push for that sanctification, to push for that final node. Especially when you're crafting something like this, that is going to be hundreds of divines because it's like tier 1 spirit. It could have been like 50 spirit, but 48, we'll take it as well. Something like this is really, really strong. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to chaos spam this entire thing. On average, if you look at the probability of getting a melee skills or projectile skills is basically 0.1, or you put them together, it becomes about 0.2%. So on average, I'm expected to use 500 chaos or about 10 to 12 divines. Now, I'm not going to waste your time and watch me chaos all of them together. I'm going to chaos it and I'm going to tell you exactly how much we spend. Right now, I think I have somewhere around like 8 divines, 9 divines or something. And I have about this much divines right now. 79 together if this is like now 10. So I'm going to be doing the gamble and then I will fast forward and then you will see the result of getting the +3. Just give me a sec. Okay, and I actually got it quite lucky. I got it within like 300 or something. But unfortunately, I got the slightly less economical, profitable one, which is melee skills. But for the sake of this video, I'm trying to share with you guys a concept. If it were me doing it on my own time, I would be going for that projectile skills for the maximum amount of profit because of the meta it is in right now. So melee skills, this is a very nice one already. Spirit melee skills with 4 options to open up from here. Now, for those of you who are in a normal league, what you will want to do next is, because these two has no tags associated to it. If you look at melee skills, there's no tag. Spirit, there's no tag. And projectile skills, there's no tagging as well. So you cannot use something like an omen of homogenizing exaltation. It will give you an error. Let me just demonstrate the error that's ongoing so that it's easier for us to see. So for example, if I bought a homogenizing exaltation and I tried to exalt this, you can see here, could not generate mod because there's no typing between these two. So what is going to happen now is, if in a normal league, what you want to do is try to get the a roll in the next line, and then you ideally want it to be a low roll because you can whittle it away if it's something that you don't want. But what you are looking for is either crit or some sort of resistance line in the third line. That's the line that you'll be looking for. Ideally, you want it low, so you don't want to go for like perfect exalted or something like that. You can use a different method, and I will show you, is using the breach method as well. So what you can do using this breach method is, for example, let's pick up something that is relatively cheap. We can go with the Zoth Catalyst. So I'm going to just go ahead and pick up, I'm just going to hit the market. I'm not even reading the to and fro queue. But what we're going to do is we're going to bump it all the way up with fire modifiers right now. The reason for that is because in the ritual, you will realize that you can see here, Omen of Catalyzing Exaltation. Now, no one's buying this. I'm just going to hit the market because I don't have Exalted. I don't want to waste your time changing back and forth. So what this is the Exalted Orb will consume everything on this one just so that it's able to pop out with that resistance line. Because if you notice, Fire Catalyst right now, and if we look at this, the only thing with like a fire tag in this whole list is Elemental, right? So we have fire here, fire resistance, elemental resistance. So the likelihood of getting these two lines will then be increased as well. You don't really want to go for chaos because chaos has only one line. So I don't know whether it affects the probability or something, but it's much lower. So this is if there wasn't like an abyssal league, right? In the abyss league, what we will do is just abyss craft on this. So we'll slap it on to get the third line as well. And then you will slowly try to find that resistance or crit line so that we can omen of homogenizing later on. But for the example here, I'm going to be using a catalyzing exaltation because it just says increase the chance. We don't want to go with a perfect exalted because if it comes out to be something that is very high roll, that's not what you want, then you will have to redo the whole process and spend like another 10, 12 divines trying to find that +3 melee skills or projectile skills again. So in this case, I'll consume this, open here, and you can see it eats the entire catalyst and it opens fire resistance for me. In normal situations, this is really bad because it's a low roll, but in my case, I really love it because it gives me the option of whittling it later on if it was another roll that turned out to be quite bad. So that is how you use this one for those of you who have never used it before as well. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a homogenizing exaltation. So for this, I do want to get some very nice exalted orbs. Let me just convert 2 over here real quick. So what we're going to do is, because homogenizing exaltation, let me just repeat it again for those of you who have never seen this gear before and you're watching these kind of crafting videos for the first time. What it is every single item, and huge shout out to Craft of Exile for this site as well, where they compile everything. It's not 100% accurate. There are some not that good ones, but here what we are looking for is, because fire resistance has elemental fire and resistance lines, homogenizing exaltation takes whatever tags there are, and the next line will have one of these 3 tags. If we look at all of the resistance, they share elemental resistance tag. So all of these either share elemental or resistance, or both of them. Elemental rest, of course, is fire as well. So if you look at the other stuff here, all the rest doesn't carry any of these taggings. Not even like anything to do with chaos or damage. There's none of them. So we are basically guaranteed to pull out very, very nicely. The next 2 lines will be your resistance lines as well. So now that we have something like this, because we are going to be using omen of homogenizing exaltations, which cost a little bit of money, I want to like double it so that your next exalted is going to use 2 instead of 1. So what we're going to do is get this greater exaltation. It's not critical, it's just going to help us save a little bit of money. I'll hit the market again. I don't mind eating the cost so that it can save your time. We're going to eat this cost, and then we are going to use greater exaltation to open the amulet. But one thing to note is the amulet is level 79, and we cannot get like a super high max roll, that level 82 one. So our only options right now really is to get the 71 line, the 60 line, and like the 49 lines if I use a greater. So if I use a perfect, it's 60 and 71, which gets me above 30. But if I can save myself a lot of money, I don't mind getting like a tier 5 just to show you guys a bit of the thought process as well. Because this is already like a melee skills. I don't think it's going to be very economical as well. So what I'll be doing now is I'll use, normally if it was like projectile skills and I'm ready to make a lot of money, I will go for a perfect exalted. But you can see it's like 335 exalts. I rather use all these funds to create more content for you guys as I discover more things. I save 100 times the cost. So that's my reason why I'm actually going this. Not that it's better or anything. It's just for economic purposes so I can save some money to make more content for us. If you appreciate such content, do give me a like, comment, and subscribe as well to test things out for us and teach you guys as well in a very, very methodological, step-by-step, deterministically crafting way. So now that we have something like this, melee skills, fire rest as well, this will pull out the other 2 lines. I combo it with greater exaltation to make this exalted orb have double effectiveness. So, and basically like double the value of this homogenizing exaltation. So I'll go ahead, prop. You can see immediately now it comes out. Thankfully, it actually came out the highest roll, the tier 2 that I could have gotten because it's a level 79 item as well. So I saved myself 300 plus exalted for that. And it's 2 lines. So now I can open the last line over here, which will also be a resistance line. So I'll go ahead and similarly come into the omen of homogenizing. Where's my rituals? I'm going to buy another one, not sanctification, one of these homogenizing exaltation, currently costing slightly less than a divine. So now that I have this, I will activate this and we will proc it again. But because we have the fire rest here, the fire rest is like more or less stuck there for now. So we will whittling that as the last item. But right now, fire, cold, lightning, the only tag that's left is chaos as well as elemental rest, which will come out in the last line right here. So you can see, unfortunately, it came out to be a slightly lower roll in elemental rest, T4. If I saw like I got a double T2, I probably would have invested in a perfect exalted, because chaos here, perfect exalted, I will land a T3, T2. Elemental rest, I will land a T3, T2. I will take away like tier 4s completely in that whole RNG of it. But because it's like, this is content for you guys, I want to like make it as cheap as possible. So let's just say this was like a perfect exalted and they were like T2, 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 really nice rolls already, which they are already very, very strong. Now the last one is to correct that whatever fire rest that we wrote, right? So all I just need to do come into here is buy an Omen of Whittling. So let me just pick some up. I'm expecting to like spend a little bit on this. So let's buy like 2. I'm just hitting the market, whatever. And at this point, the choice whether you want to go for like a greater chaos, perfect chaos is up to you. Because at this point, not many other things can be rolled out. So I'll look at this like level 79, melee skills level, which is the determining one for the valuation, is 75. The item level is 79. So I look at the resistance line, I'm already getting a 71, nothing higher than this. All the other ones are fine as well. Even if I get max attribute, I can still whittle that away. It's only just conflicting with like my lightning rest and stuff. So I don't want too high rolls as well. So I'm just looking at what else I can get, the other liners. So crit is also good if I can get it, but I don't see a huge necessity to use a perfect chaos or anything, because I'm still going to be gated by these low level lines like the lightning as well as cold, which is like 71 lines. Melee skills is quite high, like 75, because it's 79. So I'm going to be using just greater chaos. I think greater chaos is very cost effective for what I'm trying to do. So I'll just buy 2. And ideally, of course, what I'm hoping for is removing and inserting a higher roll in fire or chaos resistance. But the probability now is like so low, because out of all of them, what are the chances of like you trying to actually snipe that last line or last 2 lines, right? Fire and chaos itself. You most likely will get something else. So first one, boom, dexterity. And now you can see it immediately like swipes out the elemental resistance. Of course, if this was a lot higher, then we probably would be able to like keep this one as well. But that is like some of the thought process of what I'm thinking of when I am doing these items. So ideally, you want in an optimal world, you have this at level 82 or as high as you can go. All these are as close to max rolls, and then you just keep whittling on the last one. Or whenever you find there's a difficulty, you restart. So it's still quite an expensive process, but I hope you found this video insightful of how we went through the thought process as well. Now, for the sake of this video towards the end, I just want to do a bit of gacha. I want to do a bit of gambling. Because I'm going to spend like 1 divine to remove the elemental rest already anyway, I might as well take this time to just YOLO a little bit and actually try to whack it with, I don't know, maybe I'll just whack it with like one of the fracture, the abyssal mechanics here, since it's the part of the season as well. So it's 100% RNG. I have a 20% chance of messing everything up. But yeah, let's go. So sheesh, gambling always pays off, man. That's what it tells you. So because of this abyssal mechanic, now I guess this is special at the end. For those of you who are watching in a future league this content as well, abyss mechanics, we could insert in this line. I'm buying an abyssal chaos as well, which allows me to re-roll a selection. And this kind of like guarantees me to get whatever line that I want already, as long as I have enough like budget for the line. Because if let's say I already settle on these 3 lines being exactly like what I'm looking for, then the last line is the only one that I'm going to be controlling, which in this case, I'll just slap this, let me activate this, slap this in, and I can choose the last line, hopefully be fire. If fire is like somewhere around here, and perfect. Now we have everything all in one. We have elemental, fire, chaos, everything. I selected, even if the fire was like slightly higher, I probably would select the chaos and fire as well. Not only because chaos is like 2 lines in one, but it's also easier to search for the buyer. When he searches like chaos a little bit, he will get this as well. So now we have a fantastic line of 4 lines resistances, which is crazy strong. But we are not done yet. Of course, there's still ways to like make this really good. And one of them is to add catalyst. So there are many thoughts like what you want to go for, which is the catalyst that makes the most difference. I personally feel either going for cold or lightning will just make that number look really, really big. But fire, for example, could bring up the lows to make it look like a little bit more palatable. So it's really up to you how you want to like dress it. I probably will go for fire because this number will get affected for both fire and chaos as well. So I will go for a fire resistance. Of course, ideally, it will be a high roll, but we can also solve that. So let me just go into a breach here. Breach, purchase 5. Let's just hit this at 22. Oops, no, math. Let's just do 20. Okay, so now you can see here 14% fire, 9% elemental rest. This pushes it, both of them up. So not only does the low numbers look higher now, but fire and chaos both go up, so which is a little bit better. And of course, if you wanted to push the numbers up a bit more, because this is like low roll, I can always take a divine, smack it up. Can we get a nicer roll? I'm hoping to get like a higher roll here so that numbers look nicer for the thumbnail or something. So 50 is like middle. This is like 38. Do I want to settle on this? Okay, I'll settle on this. So now we have a very nice 4-liner, freaking 4-line craft together with a very nice amulet here. Deterministically crafted, more or less, I would say. Maybe I got lucky towards the end with the abyssal crafting, but that's my thought process of how to do it. If you guys found this video helpful and insightful, do give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe for more such future content, and see you guys in the next video.